Okay, so in case some of you out there don't know, despite Dragon Ball Super having ended over 2 years ago, Toei Animation has been on a semi-regular basis producing a new Dragon Ball series, and trust me, I'm using the word series loosely. In reality, there are currently 22 9-minute long episodes released to promote a digital card game based in Japan.
I love Japan, period.
Now, as some of you older fans of the channel might remember, I've actually talked about Super Dragon Ball Heroes before. However, when I spoke about the show first, it had only just started and I covered only 4 episodes, as of course that was all that was released at the time. And it didn't go well. Now there are over 20 episodes released with fully finished arcs to boot, and trust me, they are just as weird, if not more so than before. Which, let's be honest, sounds exactly like the sort of challenge I enjoy. Dragon Ball GT's first season really tested my patience, but something tells me this will be much, much worse. I'm totally not Mark, and this is my review for the first 20 episodes of Super Dragon Ball Heroes, the anime. Oh, also, make sure to stick around for the end because I have a big announcement to make. Alright, let's dive in. Prison Planet Arc, episodes 1 to 4 recap. Alright, so because I've technically taken a look at the first 4 episodes before, I'll try to cover these quickly to get everyone caught up. If you are already caught up, you can use this timestamp to jump to when I discuss episode 5 and onwards. In my last video about this, I discussed the shortcomings of Super Dragon Ball Heroes in an overly lighthearted fashion, but as I said in that review, the show plays extremely fast and loose with the concept of
whoa, my
logic and maybe even storytelling. The entire story essentially acts as an excuse to get Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks into a circumstance where they are forced to battle random, and I mean random, enemies while demonstrating more crazy power-ups and fusions. Future Mai arrives during Goku and Vegeta's training on Beerus' world.
Whoa, Mai!
And no one asks any questions as to why that happens, but she informs the gang that apparently Trunks is being held captive on a prison planet, which is pictured as a bunch of planets literally chained together, complete with Saturn and planet Earth. Alright, so essentially this purple guy with a hipster haircut is the bad guy that's responsible for the prison planet, and once there, Goku and Vegeta run into Time Patrol Goku from another timeline, and they fight for all of 3 seconds before joining forces. Apparently they need to gather 7 Dragon Balls, don't ask, and the remaining 6 are in the hands of other prisoners on the planet. The first big bad that shows up is Cooler, followed quickly after by Cumber, a new Saiyan used for the show, and the majority of the fighting that takes place in this arc is against him. He's quite strong, leading to Goku and Vegeta fusing together using the Potara earrings Mai has for some reason, don't ask. The subsequent episode after that covers the fight of Vegito versus Cumber. We also get to see Vegeta using the Kaioken in tandem with the Super Saiyan Blue form, which is kinda neat. However, Cumber resorts to launching a Blutz wave ball into the sky like Vegeta did way back when, and proceeds to change into a golden Ozaru because of course he does. Goku and Vegeta then defuse.
whoa, my
Reveals that she has more earrings because of course she does. Goku then gets trapped under Cumber's foot, but goes Blue and Kaioken to get out of there. The fight that's raging on against Cumber is apparently causing damage to the planet's chains, which is important to Fu, the purple hipster bad guy I spoke about before, leading to him having to take control of the situation, hitting Cumber in some weird way, forcing him to revert back to his regular size, but not cutting his tail off. Anyway, Fu then leaves again, Goku goes Super Saiyan God, and Cumber recognizes the form for some reason. And you're pretty much caught up with episode 5. If it doesn't make any sense, that's because it actually doesn't make any sense. Alright, episode 5. Goku fights Cumber in his god form until he can't anymore. Seems he's zapped of energy and Cumber crushes him to the floor. Now, lying motionless, Cumber lines up his final blast to end Goku there and then, when out of nowhere, like everything else in the series, Super Saiyan 4 Time Patrol Goku and Vegeta show up to make the save. They then begin throwing on the ear bling themselves, resulting in Super Saiyan 4 Time Patrol Vegito, which might actually be the nerdiest thing I've ever said in my life. Now fused, they resume fighting Cumber in Goku's place, breaking more and more chains of the planet in the process, leading to what looks like the collapse of the planet entirely.
Super Saiyan 4 Time Patrol Vegito
Fires a Kamehameha, launching Cumber into the sky, seemingly defeating him. However, all the energy that they've released results in them defusing, and Fu then arrives on the battlefield enraged with the condition his planet and his lab have been left in. Apparently, it's time for him to take things into his own hands now. Episode 6. Episode 6 is sort of the finale of this arc, so let's see how this one plays out. Alright, so the episode kicks off with the planet going to all hell as the Time Patrol forces of Goku and Vegeta, in their Super Saiyan 4 forms, battle a formidable Fu. Suddenly, Cumber floats back down from the sky he was blasted into, ready to join the battle once again. All the while, our main Goku, lying motionless on the floor, is still lying motionless on the floor. However, Fu notices something in the sky, remarking that it looks like he has achieved his goal after all, that, quote, they will revive soon. He then thanks to Saiyans before piecing out through a portal he cuts open, escaping from the action entirely. Cumber, meanwhile, is throwing a massive blast towards the remaining fighters. The Super Saiyan 4s are just about able to hold off this blast, but they are struggling. Our Vegeta, meanwhile, starts shouting at our Goku to wake up, and in typical Goku fashion does so at the last possible second, and in his Ultra Instinct state no less. Goku proceeds to school Cumber until he has been left unconscious, and it's at this point, once again drained of energy after the short Ultra Instinct scuffle, Zamasu, flanked by a number of other characters, begin exiting that thing in the sky Fu remarked on earlier. They take Cumber's lifeless body away and leave Goku on the planet to meet his doom. Goku screams and the planet goes boom, ending the episode and the arc. And now we're diving into Super Dragon Ball Heroes' second ever arc, the Universe Conflict arc. And while I poked fun at the previous arc for very obvious reasons, it was still able to do something the Dragon Ball Super anime couldn't: connect two arcs together rather than just starting a fresh story. This is a legitimate point towards Heroes that Super doesn't have, and I can't believe I just said that. Episode 7. After regrouping on Beerus' world, the Time Patrol Vegeta and Goku leave, hoping that the Goku we know is okay. It's at this point the plot comes running down the road in the form of the Supreme Kai from the 6th universe. Why doesn't he just teleport like the rest of the Kais do? Who knows? Appearing terrified, he informs them that the 6th universe is being attacked by unknown enemies. I don't know why he runs all the way to the 7th universe to bring this to the attention of these random mortals he met once and not to, oh, I don't know, any other god of destruction? Apparently Champa, the god of destruction of his universe, is after being called somewhere else, which is convenient or part of the plot, who knows, you decide. Vegeta then accepts the duty and vows to defend the 6th universe. We then switch scenes, catching up with Hit, Kaba, Caulifla, and Kale in Universe 6 as they are fighting the portal hoppers from the end of the last arc. Together they are struggling but are inflicting some damage here and there. However, these two creepy twins are capable of healing their wounds. Thankfully, Vegeta and Trunks join the fray and together help level the playing field. However, these two have one more thing up their sleeves, and they won't reveal it until the next episode. Alright, episode 8. The episode itself kicks off as the two enemies demonstrate this technique. Both of their designs look very reminiscent of Baby from GT, and their ability seems to be very similar too. They can possess and inhabit the bodies of Kale and Caulifla, changing their hair white and putting strange marks on their face. I'm not really sure as to why they take their bodies as their own though. They later reveal that they are Tuffle engineered parasites, and if they do work like Baby, then why would they willingly make themselves weaker by using Caulifla and Kale as hosts? They already visually told us that they were much weaker than those two twins were in the first place, so it really doesn't make sense for them to inhabit their bodies. Also, just as an aside, Kaba has literally done nothing in these past 2 episodes so far, and I think it's hilarious. Vegeta even berated him once. Anyways, Hit and Trunks end up fighting the two parasites while Vegeta charges his final flash. The build up to this final flash is actually more visually interesting than that from the Universe 6 tournament in the Super, I think. So that's something. But the finish is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Hit and Trunks' plan was to hold the two parasite twins in full Nelsons like Goku did with Raditz and just take the hit from Vegeta. I guess this isn't a big deal as no one is mortally wounded or even hurt as much as you'd think they should be after the attack. And on top of that, the two parasites exited the bodies before the blast hit, so neither of them are hard done by either. Oh, and also, this other guy riding a giant crystal wearing a mink coat and weird sunglasses shows up and forces everyone to the floor. He reveals that he is there to take down Zeno, and his name is Hearts. But no joke, the ending to this is sort of dramatic. Hearts demonstrates that he can destroy all of them in an instant if he so chooses. He reads Hit's mind to find out that Jiren is the strongest in all the universes. We see Vegeta confused as to where Goku is right now, and we get a quick glimpse at Jiren staring down Cumber with Toppo defeated on the floor. And to make matters even more confusing, we switch scenes to the Grand Priest addressing Goku dressed as the Grand Priest. I don't know what's going on, but I'm kinda getting into it. Episode 9. The episode begins in a weird way. Trunks and Vegeta suddenly appear in Universe 11. No idea how they got there either, or how the other episode sort of resolved itself. I guess they just took the bus or something. So without delay, Vegeta gets taken over by one of the parasites and pretty much turns into Baby. This is such a weird show, and time again I am reminded that this isn't trying to tell a good story, but instead trying to cram as many things into it as possible to sell toys, games, and cards. Anyway, Trunks gets knocked into the ocean, and that's when we catch up with Jiren's battle with Cumber. In the middle of this fight, Hearts interrupts and instructs the new parasite Vegeta to battle him in Cumber's place. Hearts then teleports Cumber to Universe 3 as the battle rages on in Universe 11. The girl parasite and Zamasu show up, Trunks does too, to be flung to the side in seconds, who didn't see that coming, and that's when Grand Priest Goku arrives to the battlefield like Thor from Infinity War, flanked by the actual Grand Priest, who deems it not necessary to stick around because it seems Goku is tapping into Ultra Instinct again. To which I say, no, Grand Priest, please stick around. That move doesn't last long, and you should know that. Anyway, Goku pretty much gut punches the parasite out of Vegeta in one hit because that makes sense, bringing the episode to a close as he stares down Hearts. One thing I've actually noticed about these episodes is that the music is new and honestly quite good, which I literally did not expect. Episode 10. Goku moves to confront Hearts, but gets blindsided by the Parasite twins. Jiren is fighting Zamasu in the meantime, but the twin fight is just so bizarre. In the same fashion as every episode before it, yet another character fusion / form is revealed. Apparently these Parasite twins confuse, and fuse they so do. The fusion is called Kami-Orin? Yeah, a fusion of the names Kamen and Orin, the two parasites. They, however, can still not touch Goku. This is when Hearts calls this other character from this giant flying crystal. She emerges and starts slicing Goku up with her jagged pieces. No longer an Ultra Instinct, he doesn't stand a chance. I guess the Grand Priest should have stuck around in the first place. The episode ends as Vegeta goes Super Saiyan Bluer to try and even the odds against Kami-Orin. Episode 11. Episode 11 begins as Vegeta battles Kami-Orin in a dominant fashion while Trunks defends Goku from Crystal Girl. We cut to Jiren, who seems to be dealing with Zamasu rather well. Not that it matters because he's immortal and Jiren is just a Out of seemingly nowhere, the animation quality in this episode skyrockets as Naoto Shishida provides a cut of animation for Vegeta's final flash against Kami-Orin. The attack was successful and it separates the two parasites. Goku all the while continues to get sliced by crystals when yet again Hearts cuts in and sends Crystal Girl to reinforce Cumber in Universe 3. Hearts then initiates a fight with Goku in the hopes that it will draw out the perfect Ultra Instinct form he had earlier so that he can defeat him at his strongest.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Once again, Hearts forces everyone to the floor, and this is when another person enters the fray. Supreme Kai shows up so that he can teleport everyone away, despite Goku already having that ability. I don't know. Jiren gets trapped in a little box, and we get Morofu sitting in a lab watching everything unfold before we get a glimpse of Mecha Cooler to close out the episode. This is such a fever dream of a series. Episode 12. Episode 12 begins as Hearts and his giant crystal arrive in the 7th universe, and that's when we see Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, 17, and Piccolo standing in defense of the Earth. Character episode introductions like this makes me feel serious whiplash considering we were just in Universe 11, but whatever, I guess they all just took the bus again. But I digress, they start to fight. Vegeta and Trunks take on Fuse Zamasu, 17 and Piccolo take on the Parasite twins, and Goku struggles against Hearts. We then switch gears to Universe 3 where we see Metal Cooler fighting Cumber and then transform into Golden Metal Cooler because they gotta sell stuff. In firing his final big blast, Cooler ruptures a circuit overheating and then flies away almost immediately. We then switch back to the main action in Universe 7 to find that the Parasite twins are fused again and Hearts looks as though he's ready to finally start fighting. Episode 13. For the record, I don't really enjoy the designs of Hearts, or anyone in the show for that matter. It feels very much like a random fan came up with the concepts and designs and Toei instructed professional artists to draw them. Regardless, Goku and Hearts commence fighting. I've no idea why he just doesn't use the gravity thing he does more, but whatever. Goku powers up to Super Saiyan Blue. Time to take things seriously now, I guess, even though it was already pretty serious before. I do like the idea, however, that Hearts stays one step ahead of Goku because he can read his mind. That makes the utility of a form like Ultra Instinct all the better as he can move without thought in that. There's actually a significant amount of great animation in this episode too. Naoto Shishida most obviously contributes a wonderful bit halfway through, but this section supplied by Miyako Tsuji was impressive too. The Shida portion of the fight, however, is spectacular, but the context is weird. By the time the cut ends, Goku has caused more damage to the Earth than Hearts has. Something to think about. Hearts then reactivates his gravity power because he's not completely brain dead, and that ends the episode. You think at some point during the battle his glasses would fall off too, but they are right there firmly on his face, and something tells me they will be there for a long time. Episode 14. So Hearts turns off the gravity power because I guess he is fully brain dead. He powers up more and they continue fighting. Piccolo and 17 successfully tag team Kamioran and through a combo of shields, blast, and Makanko Suppose begin dominating. Hearts notices that Kamioran is being dominated and gives the fighters seemingly a bunch of new power. I don't exactly know how or why 17 and Piccolo can defeat this character even before all this, considering when separated, Kamen and Orin were single-handedly dishing out beatings to Hit and Vegeta, but whatever. Not like continuity is a big deal in storytelling. Anyways, with this power-up, we get this episode's new toy, fighter, for the gang to battle with. It looks pretty much like Hirudegarn and got this power from the universe seed or something that Hearts is in possession of now. The gang all try battling this new souped up version of Kamioran, but to no avail. Goku tries his best, but 2 fails before attaining for the 3rd time Ultra Instinct to close out the episode. Episode 15. I'd like to point out that Hit and Jiren, despite being extremely valuable in this fight, have not been seen in ages. For apparently no reason at all. I don't know why they can't just take the bus too. Goku continues to fight the giant beasts and proceeds to stomp on him for about 6 minutes straight, eventually attaining the silver-haired form in that time. He defeats Kamioran while using all of his energy. After this battle, Hearts remarks that the universe seed has been condensed into this perfect form, whatever that means. It's now time for his wish to come true, according to Zamasu, who seems to be scheming something also. By the way, what happened to collecting the Dragon Balls for the last 14 episodes?
Whoa, my.
I can't be the only one who's noticed this. Episode 16. So while Hearts is busy playing with the Universe Seed and his cubes, Zamasu confronts everyone, revealing that Hearts wants to destroy Zeno and that without Zeno in the way, his plan to eradicate all mortals will have no obstacles. This is of course ignoring how few Zamasu even exists in this timeline or in the first place, considering with what happened to him in the Goku Black arc and it was in a completely different timeline. I mean, it just makes no sense. But Zamasu starts styling on everyone and then Jiren literally drops from the heavens to save the day with Hit. They start to fight, but that's when Hearts decides to leave his cube and to do his best impression of Omega Shenron. This is the worst design for a main villain I have ever seen, and after cubing Zamasu into oblivion, I guess it's time to move on. Episode 17. Hearts could not look more ridiculous. Like, holy hell, like, good job, I'm actually impressed. He fires these green balls all around everyone, and with a single snap of his finger, they begin attacking everyone. It's actually quite boring, but eventually everyone falls to the floor before restarting the exchange. Goku, Hit, and Jiren all try attacking, but to no success, and that's when Hearts uses his gravity finale, and yes, that's actually the name of the move, and pretty much drops a big old cube on everybody. This man loves his cubes. The explosion is shown to be massive and impressive and all the rest of it, but despite this, everyone gets up afterwards with a few scratches, ready to keep fighting. What is stamina in this show? This is when Goku and Vegeta, for the 2nd or 3rd time, I can't remember, talk about fusing. Goku decides that fusion is what they need to do, and Vegeta refuses despite maybe a few hours ago doing just that. After more moaning from Vegeta, they perform the dance perfectly the first time, and we get Gogeta in the show. Woo. Episode 18. Hearts sends the rest of the fighters to the floor and invites Gogeta to battle, who is powered up to blue. They fight for a bit, Hearts plays with more cubes, all to no success against Gogeta. They fight some more, they talk, Hearts says that he's stronger than Zeno and Gogeta says that he's stronger than Hearts. It's a pretty boring episode if I'm being perfectly honest. Hearts closes this one out by making a super big blast and hurls it towards Gogeta. Episode 19. Alright, so this episode is pegged as being the end of the universe conflict arc, so let's see how it fares. Gogeta fires a Kamehameha to stop the blast, but he's struggling. Hearts calls himself the very universe itself. Weird flex, but okay. And then the allies of Gogeta step in to lend a hand. Together they make a spirally beam, and we all know that means the beam is stronger in Dragon Ball Super, but the destruction blast that Hearts sent their way gets broken up, and then Gogeta moves in to finish Hearts, which he does. Hearts goes on to deliver a speech about liberating the universe from Zeno and all that nonsense that he could have said a number of times during this series, but never did. What an anticlimactic ending. I'm not sure what I expected. Apparently Zeno has been playing hide and seek with Beerus and Champa this entire time. Okay. The two Saiyans unfuse and everyone involved goes back to their respective universes. Fu closes out the episode all ominous like he's some sort of puppet master, which he is apparently. I just don't like it or believe it. He comes off as annoying and not at all sinister. Episode 20. This episode is a really weird one, and it's sort of a standalone one too. It's considered a special, but trust me, there's nothing special about it. This is Heroes after all, and it's the most fanfiction thing I've ever seen in my life, all the while sporting a Super Saiyan God Trunks design that might very well be the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in Dragon Ball. And I've seen Bio Broly. Essentially, the Time Patrol is fighting this evil force. I didn't bother to remember his name. Trunks gets some dumb looking sword, he cuts the bad guy in half. The episode reaches its end in like 3 minutes, and the rest is just wrapping up on the details. It's honestly like we showed up at the theater in time to catch the last 7 minutes of a 1 hour long movie. I actually have whiplash after watching this. Dreadfully bad idea for an episode, and also the closing seconds provide a small origin for food that really does nothing for me. And I think I'm going to leave it there for now. There are 2 episodes more, but they are only the beginning of the next arc in the series. But yeah, that's Super Dragon Ball Heroes. What a weird ride. I don't know what I was expecting when I sat down to review this show for the first time, but it certainly wasn't this. For both good and bad reasons. Let's talk about the good first, because there are some good points to this little advertisement. The combat in parts was decent and sometimes gripping. The animation supplied over the course of the series has been hit or miss, but when it hits, boy does it hit it out of the park. Additionally, as I mentioned in the review, the show made a decent effort in linking the 2 arcs together, making it feel like one big story instead of 2 segmented ones. And finally, the character of Hearts had some good upsides too. He's quite memorable to me purely down to how his offense was animated with the cubes. It's very, I don't know, unique. But aside from that, I really didn't like his or really anyone's design in the show. Everything just feels like professionals took direction from me when I was like 4 years old. Also, and perhaps the show's biggest flaw, is that it feels like random characters show up out of nowhere to just be a toy advertisement. Nothing demonstrates this more than Metal Cooler, who literally shows up and leaves in the same episode, never to be seen again. But this can be said about the entire series. One episode there's Ultra Instinct, another there's Vegito, another there's Gogeta, Hit, Jiren. It goes on and on like that, and it's honestly exhausting, as it's really obvious that it takes the front seat over the story. And the story isn't even good, but it's made worse by having to play second fiddle to toy and game advertisements. But then again, that's exactly what Super Dragon Ball Heroes is, and that's a big advertisement. I don't think it's fair to knock it for being exactly what it says on the tin, so I guess it does a good job at that. But as I said at the beginning of this video, I have a big announcement. I've spent hundreds of hours over the last year reviewing large chunks of Dragon Ball's story and films. And while I've really enjoyed it, I think I need a new challenge. Everyone's seen Dragon Ball Z, and I do intend on reviewing the original Dragon Ball at some point in the future, but both of these are too easy for what I want right now. I want something intimidating, and that's when I had an idea for the most imposing challenge to ever rise up against me. Almost 1,000 chapters and almost as many episodes long, it's been the single most popular manga for the last 20 years and is one of the longest running manga series in history. People have been telling me that this is one of the best shonen anime out there, and I've been putting it off for years. And the best part is, I know literally nothing about this show. I've not seen or read a single part of it, and so, starting next week, we'll be setting sail as I review for the first time ever the most popular manga on Earth. Next week, I'm gonna start my journey to conquer One Piece.